For this quick and simple project, I'm going to use these 3 items plus some ribbon. These are the little carrot sacks. I think this is a really good deal for, you get 2 of them. And then one of the wood carrots. All of this is from Dollar Tree. Now, just for fun, I just wanted to set it inside there and cinch it and see how it looked. And I was like, oh, that's still so cute. But I want it to be tighter and have a little bit more of a clean look. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this out. So technically, if you made this project, you could make up to 4 carrots. And then I'm just going to Mod Podge it down onto that carrot. And then just a cut around the edges of this, like it's kind of like a burlappy feel. I really like how this gives like a neutral feel. I like projects like this too because sometimes with all our cute signs with sayings and everything, it can get really busy. And so I like having a few simpler pieces to go with my decor, and that way it doesn't get overwhelming and cluttered looking. So you can see here I'm just cutting off some greenery, and I will glue those down as well.
I can see you far and wide across the ocean, above the clouds. In your presence I am free. I hear your whisper through the wind. Right now.
Okay, now just using some of this ribbon here. It's from Joann's. It's like got little carrots on it, but of course Dollar Tree has lots of skinny ribbons like this. And I'm just going to tie a simple bow here, and then that's it. Now you could add a little saying across the carrot, like one of their word sayings, or you could add a little wood bunny or something also if you want to jazz it up. But like I said, I want to keep some things a little more simple so that my decor doesn't look cluttered. And this is how it turned out. Okay, and I'm going to use one of these wood boxes from Dollar Tree as well as these little wood bunnies, and I'm going to paint that box with Waverly Antique Wax, and then using some of their wallpaper, I'm going to cut it to size and put it down into the bottom of this tray. This is a super simple project again, but it's very versatile. There is so much you can do with it. Also, I am going to glue these down with wood glue. I just find that while hot glue is, quick and fast and easy, they tend to pop off, where when you use wood glue, these are on there. So when you store your decor, you're less likely to have things pop off. I notice every year when I get out my decor, I have my glue gun on and I'm fixing a bunch of things. And so I'm really trying to get away from that if possible. And it really does dry pretty fast. So I go ahead and I glue 4 on each long side and then 2 on the short sides. And then just to give you an idea of things you can do, these carrots are from Dollar Tree. I thought you could even kind of paint them a little bit, rustic them up so they didn't look so plastic. Also, some of these eggs from Dollar Tree would look good as well. Maybe I would put 2 packs in, but look how cute that is. I love these eggs. And then you can also use these Dollar Tree eggs. They're already in the crate. You could take them out of the crate, but look at that. It fits perfectly inside there. And then lastly, I'm just using this jar, but pretend it's a candle, and you could put a candle in there and have a spring scent going. Okay, for this project, I'm going to use this clearance sign that I got at Hobby Lobby, and I just painted over the front of it with some chalk paint. Now you can use something similar to like this from Dollar Tree. It has a cute little beads there. You could also just use one of their signs. They have these kind of like shadow box signs, and you could just glue on a little base for it as well. I love going to Hobby Lobby when they have their 90% off, because you just have to look and go, can I paint over that and will it make something cute? Because I believe this sign only cost me between $1 and $2 because it was 90% off. So I'm just going to add some Mod Podge here and then this printout. I bought this from Etsy. You get 10 different bunny images for $2.40, and I even found a coupon code, so it was only $1.44. I prefer to pay a creator on Etsy instead of, just going to Google Images and copying and pasting, because, somebody put that work in to design that, and I'd like them to get the money they are owed. So as you saw there, I just sanded around the edges so that it is nice and straight onto the thing. And then I just found this flower in my stash, and it was like the exact same color as in the printout there. And so I'm just going to glue it onto the front of this piece here. Now those bunnies, I opened up Etsy for another reason, and those bunnies popped up, and I was like so in love with them. I'm like, I'm going to do some DIYs with these. Okay, so I'm just taking one of the clear rubber bands from their hair section at Dollar Tree and just wrapping this around. You saw I cut it all apart because I didn't like the way it laid, how it came. So I cut it so I could make it the bouquet exactly how I wanted it. And then again, like I said earlier, I am trying to use more secure glues. So I am going to use some super glue as well as some hot glue to make it last longer. Or I mean, adhere faster. And then I have just some lace there, just some skinny lace that I'm going to tie around it. That will also help secure it even more to the base. And I'll just tie a simple bow around it, and that'll hold this whole thing in place as well as give it a little lacy look. And then I thought, you know what, let's just give it a little bit more lace. So I tied another just regular shoestring bow, and I added that to the top, that little knob at the top, and then this project's complete. You can see how simple and easy it is, but it is so elegant, and oh, I'm so in love with it. I love these bunnies. So I'm going to do 2 more projects with the same, it's not the exact same bunny because you get 10 designs with this, and I will link the Etsy link below. And I'm going to just follow the same principle of just Mod Podging it on and sanding around the edges.
In your presence, I am free. I hear your whisper through the wind.
I've had this egg trio in my stash. It's from Michael's. It retails for $10. I'm sure I bought it on clearance or possibly got it in a grab bag. I'm not sure, but I've had it for a bit here, and I haven't known what to do with it. I thought I could put a vinyl across it, but that seemed awfully plain. I do like the chippy look of it. However, when I saw these bunnies and I was like, there's so many cute ones, and then I thought, oh, I am going to turn these bunnies into 3 eggs and put them down on here. So again, I just printed these off my computer, right onto computer paper, nothing special. If you want to get a different look, you could print them onto like tissue paper if you want, but I feel like this worked out really well. So I'm going to start with the center bunny, and I'm just kind of cutting where I think it's going to lay on the egg. And then I'll get that glued down with the Mod Podge. And so my other 2 outer eggs are going to overlap this one, so it's not as important to where this one lands because, like I said, we'll overlap it. And then when I Mod Podge it down, just all around any of the edges is where I will sand it. And I'm just using a nail file. Dollar Tree has these really like thick nail files, and I like to use those. I use a sanding block if it's a big space, but if I have to get into like a tighter space, I do use a nail file. And then once I get those on, I will go ahead and put the other 2 bunnies on. And then the way I'm going to kind of overlap them so that you don't get like that harsh line is I'm just going to tear the overlapping part.
Right now, There's no place that I would rather be. So let this moment last. I've searched myself, I've tried to figure out who I am, and you were always there to lift me up. 'Cause no one else can make me love like you. You give me strength, Lord, I finally know where I belong. I can feel you in the sunlight and through the cold nights when I close my eyes. I am walking, oh Lord, beneath the starlights, a love so pure. Right now, there's no place that I would rather be. So let this moment last. I've searched myself, I've tried to figure out who I am, and you were always there to lift me up. 'Cause no one else can make me love like you. You give me strength, Lord, I finally know where I belong.
Okay, now that you saw how I overlapped that on there, I won't make you watch the last egg because I do the exact same thing. And then there was a little space here at the top, so I just ripped another piece that I had cut off and just add that to it. And because of the look of this, it has a vintagey ripped look, it actually blends really well. And then I'm just going to cover the whole thing in some more Mod Podge, and then this project's complete. Oh yeah, I did go around it again because it has that chippy look. I just went and I really roughed up the edges so that it would look a little bit more rustic. And then I just cover it here, and then this project's complete. You could add a bow or anything if you'd like, but it is so gorgeous. Like, are those bunnies just not the cutest? Okay, I had to make one more. I'm using this sign from Dollar Tree. I'm going to go ahead and cut this twine out. I will go ahead and put it back in, but for now, I just have this bunny, and it kind of had like a circular like flow of flowers at the bottom, so I just went for that. And again, just Mod Podging it down. Now this one I was careful to lay it down because it's going to kind of go inside each of those. I don't want to say the word crack, but I don't shiplappy, whatever you want to say. So when you're doing it, don't press the whole thing down. Do it in stages. And then I just use, you can use any tool. This is a bone folder you use in card making, and just lightly press it into those cracks, and then press it down till you get to the next crack, and then you're going to press it down into the crack. Now don't push too hard or it will rip. And this just gives it kind of that vintagey shiplap look too. Now one thing I didn't do that I think would also look good is you could use brown ink or brown paint and kind of paint around the edges of the circle and really, you know, give it a more of a vintage vibe. But I was just going for a simple look. I was just kind of trying to show you the different things you could make with these bunnies. And of course, you can use any image. You could use wrapping paper and gift bags and scrapbook paper, you know, of course. But again, I was so in love with these bunnies.
I can see you far and wide across the ocean, above the clouds, in your presence.
Another really easy project. So you're going to take one of these words from Dollar Tree, as well as one of these beaded circles also from Dollar Tree, and one of these crosses also from Dollar Tree, and I just cover it in Antique Wax by Waverly. And I'm just going to go ahead, and it's just going to be a little door hanger, or of course it can just go on a wall, whatever you like. I kept the Risen or the Rejoice, whichever one you want to use. I didn't paint it because I like the way of the wooden look with the wooden beads. Of course, you can paint either one if you like. And then I'm just going to put this on with a zip tie, and the nice thing is I can just zip tie it right around the middle of that cross, because then we're going to cover that up with some ribbon, and then this project's complete. So I'm using some of this ribbon trim from Michael's. You get a huge pack of it. It's $9.99 regularly, so again, you could probably get it for $5 or $6 on sale. And I just pick out a few that I like. I have this neutral bundle, and then I just tie it in a simple knot around it, and then this project is complete.
I am free. I hear your whisper through the wind. Here, right now, there's no place that I would rather be. So let this moment last. I've searched myself, I've tried to figure out who I am, and you were always there to lift me up, 'cause no one else can make me love like you. You give me strength, Lord, I finally know where I belong. I can feel you in the sunlight and through the cold nights. When I close my eyes, I am walking, oh Lord, beneath the starlight, a love so pure.
I really like these signs that Dollar Tree are coming out with. I mean, they look so high-end once you paint them. So I'm just taking some brown paint here and painting the whole thing except the bunny. Because what I'm going to do after this is paint over it and give it that chippy, like, rustic look. This was kind of one that evolved, because at first I thought I was going to use some... Oh, my cat always likes to make a little visit. At first I thought I was going to use like maybe like some spackle or something to give that bunny like a texture. But then I thought, oh, no, that's not going to go, because if I make it like a texture, I guess I could have made the bunny brown. I don't know, but anyhow, so I'm just using some of this like creamy colored, it's kind of same color as that bunny, and I'm just gonna paint all around and just like I said, paint it just dry. I guess it's not a dry brush because I am dipping it in paint, but you know what I mean. I'm not giving it like a real thick coat so that you can see the brown coming through it.
Right now, there's no place that I would rather be. So let this moment.
This is what it looks like all painted. So then I decided let's just cut out something here with some paper I just grabbed from my stash. I do believe this piece is from Hobby Lobby. And I'm just going to press around the bunny and it makes an indentation. So it's kind of like tracing it. And then I will cut that out and stick it down to our bunny. And make sure when you're cutting, you cut it a little bit wider outside of that, just in case. And then you can always trim it down. But you can see how it made a perfect indentation and it made it really easy to cut out. And then we're just going to glue that down and add a little bow, and you can see that this was a very simple project to make. It didn't take much time at all, and I think it also looks pretty high end.
You are my shelter from the storm. You keep me safe inside your wings. You are my comfort when life gets hard. You lead me to water to drink. And now I trust your gentle hand, even when I can't understand.
Okay, grab a egg wreath form from Dollar Tree or any wreath form. I wanted to try a ribbon only wreath. And so I have so much of this buffalo check ribbon that came in my Michael's grab bag. And so I wanted to try a new technique. So I watched a video from Julie's Wreath Boutique. If you want to see an actual like wreath expert, she's the one. And I'll link the video I watched. So I'm just going to secure the beginning with a zip tie. And what's so nice about this is you use one zip tie to start it and one zip tie to end it. And that is it. Now this is an easy technique, but it is a little bit time consuming. It's a great way to use up some ribbon you may have. If you don't have one of these long rolls, you can grab a couple of the buffalo check rolls from Dollar Tree because you don't have to have just one long roll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it up on the first row. We're going to call the outside the first row, okay? And then we're going to just do about a 2-inch loop. Then we're going to pull it up into the center, the same thing, about 2 inches. And then we're going to pull it up into the inside or third row. Okay, and we just pull up like 2 inches. Now, this is the first time I've ever made it, so you'll see my fingers fumbling a little bit in the beginning and being a little bit more particular. But as I go on, I realize I don't really need to be that particular. Okay, now we're going to go all the way back and start at the beginning. Okay, so we're going to go back up to the first one or the outside and do a little loop. And then we're going to go into the middle and then the center. And I'm just going to keep doing this, and I'm going to keep pushing my loops so that they're nice and tight towards the bottom. And I'm going to do this all the way around. And you, like I said, you see me kind of fiddling with the loops at first because I'm like, let's make them all nice and perfect. But then as I started to go along, I was like, okay, it doesn't really matter if they're like, if the ribbon's a little scrunched or not. And once you get the feel of it, it goes a lot faster. So I'm just going to do this all the way around.
There can't be no light if darkness don't exist. He never left my side. He showed me the way out of all the storms raging at the sea. He gave me back my life. I owe him everything. Rejoice, rejoice, rejoice in the name of the Lord forever and always. I rejoice, rejoice, rejoice in the name of the Lord always.
Okay, now I'm going to make a big fat bow. I'm going to use some of these ribbons. These two are from the 99-cent store, and then this one is from Joann's. Of course, any ribbons will do, anything from Dollar Tree as well. If you have seen me make a ribbon like this before, you can go ahead and skip to the 7-minute mark of this video. So to do one of these ribbons, it's very simple. As you can see, I am just making a loop, and in this case I'm doing 4-inch loops. And then because this particular ribbon is the same color on both sides, I don't have to twist it, but that just helps me stick with my technique. So I make a loop and then I twist it and then I make another loop, and I'm keeping them all at the 4-inch mark. These ribbon makers are so helpful, and they're only $10. Sometimes they're even less on Amazon. We'll also link it. And I'm just going to do it 3 loops, and then I cut the tails there. Now I'm going to go in with the second ribbon, and I'm going to make this one a little bit smaller than the 4 inches. So this one's going to be a little bit more like 3.5. So now this is the one where you really do have to twist it, because as you can see, the other side of the ribbon isn't the bold print. So I'm going to continue to do this, and then with the last ribbon, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller than the middle print here. Again, 3 loops on both sides. Then I will tie it together with a zip tie. You can use a chenille stem, you can use more ribbon, whatever you like to secure the center. And then I'll dovetail the tips of the ribbons, the little tails, and then fluff out this bow.
Carried me to shore, held me through the pain. He loved me at my worst. I thank him every day. I will put him first, 'cause he did that for me. He sacrificed himself so I could find my peace. Rejoice, rejoice, rejoice in the name of the Lord forever and always. I rejoice, rejoice, rejoice in the name of the Lord always. Put joy to his name every single day, 'cause he never left our sight. He showed us the way. Rejoice, rejoice in the name of the Lord forever and
I really feel like this is the best way to make big fluffy bows. It's so simple. Okay, and this is what our wreath looks like when it's all complete. You can see how it's just got a fun little bubble kind of look, loopy look to it. So I'm going to try to decide, how do I want to decorate this? Do I want to put my ribbon at the bottom? I have this little welcome sign. This is also from 99-cent store, but Dollar Tree sells similar ones. Or I thought maybe these carrots from Dollar Tree might look cute. Like I said, you can do all sorts of things. Maybe the little carrots might look a little better. Because it's already an egg shape, I was thinking I didn't really want to do eggs. I like how the orange pops against the black and white, so I was keeping it with the carrot theme. But I decided that ultimately I do like this little metal welcome sign from the 99-cent store. So I'm just going to hot glue on a chenille stem there and go ahead and adhere it to the side. Now I like a side look on my wreaths. You can do like a centered one. I don't know what it is, I just really like it when it's kind of onto the side. And then I will just add this bow to the bottom here, and I just took another zip tie and fed it through the middle there where the other zip tie was, and I zip tie it down onto the wreath, and that's it. This is complete. Simple wreath. Again, takes a little bit of time, but that is still like a super easy. And just fluff this out, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so the rest of this video is actually a little bit of a cheater video. I made these projects back in 2020 before I started my YouTube channel, and I was cleaning out to sell a bunch of my old decor, and I was like, you know what, I never shared these on YouTube, so I'm gonna recreate them. Some of them, just you'll see as I go along. So I was showing you there, I've got a piece of the wallpaper from Dollar Tree, one of these little mason jars from Dollar Tree, and then you can see that burlap, buffalo check burlap up at the top there, and that is from Hobby Lobby. It retails for $9.99, so of course I got it for 50% off, so for $5 you get a giant roll. I have been using this roll for 4 years, and you can see how much I have left, so it's gonna last me a long time. Okay, so I'm just going to use my X-Acto knife here and cut around this. Now I realize this one is kind of a pretty simple DIY, but it kind of lays the foundation of how I did all the other DIYs. So, and if buffalo checks are not your thing, just imagine using any other ribbon or, you know, pastels, whatever you like. This is going to be all a buffalo check because back in 2020, I was like all about the buffalo check. And then I'm just going to put some twine around the top here, like, you know, you were putting the lid on a mason jar and tying it with some twine. And then using any of the Dollar Tree ornaments, their little wood ornaments. I'm using an egg on this one, but of course they have so many different shapes. And they have carrots and bunnies. And then this year they had some other ones too. And then I'm just going to cover that egg with that buffalo check, and it's nice and thick, so it covers, you know, quite a bit of space. And then I just glue that down to the center of my mason jar here, and then that's complete. So you can see, super easy. This would be cute for your farmhouse kitchen if you decorate like your kitchen for seasonal, which I do. I usually have like a little tier tray in my kitchen, and my kitchen is kind of has that farmhouse look to it. So just using some Mod Podge, I glued this down and then just cut around it.
The name of the Lord. Oh, in the name of the Lord. There can't be no light if darkness don't exist. He never left my side. He showed me the way.
Okay, for this project, I went to Google Images and I typed in bunny silhouettes, and so it gives me a couple different options here. And so I will cut around it and use it as a template. Now I have these moss sheets from Dollar Tree. I'm not 100% sure that they still have them, but you could also use burlap and paint it green as well. So you'll see the two bunnies already cut out at the top there. Those were from the originals. And I love this moss sheet. I really hope they still have it. So you can either just use a pen and trace around it, or you can just glue it down or tape it down with double stick tape and cut around it. So whatever you find is easier. I find it easier just to draw it on there. Okay, so once you have those done, I just did a little twine bow on their necks. Now, here's the problem here. I was starting to space out a little bit when I was sanding the glitter off. I wanted to keep them like the right side where you see the buffalo check border, but you'll see the one on the left, I accidentally like started sanding all the things. So I'll show you two different ways to do this. But I just cut a bit of that wallpaper down in a little square to cover that center up. And so like in this case, I'm just going to put the wallpaper over the entire thing. Now, they make these 3 squared signs pretty much for every holiday. I don't know that all of them have buffalo checks, so what you could do as well is just use a buffalo check scrapbook paper and put it down and then put like the wallpaper in the center still. So you can do that however you want depending on which ones of these signs you find. And then, okay, so now here's our little options. We can put our green bunny, our grass bunny, moss bunny there. We can put it on the other one, kind of showing you some options. You could cover one of the bunny ornaments in the buffalo check. You could cover the sign. See, this is where that would work, or scrapbook paper, and you could put the wallpaper on your bunny. I'm kind of giving you a couple options here. You could put the moss all over the thing and then put, you know, them like this. So I'll show you at the end how it ended up looking. Okay, so then for this project, I just grabbed one of these little tobacco baskets from Hobby Lobby. They're $3.99, and of course I got them for 50% off, so it was only $2. And then this egg shape popped off of a Dollar Tree sign, and I'm going to cover it in wallpaper. Now, you could use the egg ornament. This is what I used way back then. And then I'm just using this little wood bunny just for reference. So again, just a little bunny. Again, you could print off the silhouette, and then you're going to cover it in the buffalo check. And it doesn't even have to be a piece of it. So anyhow, it gets stiff enough. So that's what it looks like. Then I just grabbed one flower. I picked it off of a stem I had from Dollar Tree, and I added a twine bow there right underneath the flower. And I'm just going to kind of stick it down into my Tabasco basket and just add a little bit of hot glue. And then I will hot glue that egg onto the side there. And this is just a sweet little decor piece, very simple, but I love the neutral look of it. For this one, you can take any sign from Dollar Tree and just flip it over or do it on top here. This was just one I grabbed for purposes of just seeing it. And then you're going to cover it in wallpaper and cut around it, so that's easy peasy. And then I took one of the metal wreath forms, the little tiny ones from Dollar Tree, and I covered it in burlap, but again for visual purposes, just to show you, I grabbed this one because I didn't have any of the metal ones on hand, and I just wrapped the burlap all the way around. So really it could be any circle. It doesn't even have to be a wreath form, but that's going to be your easiest option. Then I'm going to take my little bunny here and I'm going to cover it in that buffalo check burlap and add it to the center, and then using some ribbon like this. Now this is one of my favorite ribbons that I get at Michael's at Christmas, and this is how it turns out when it is all glued down and done. So you can see the difference there with that thicker wreath form. Another simple sign, you're going to cover it again with wallpaper, and then you're going to take 3 of these bunnies or whatever you like from Dollar Tree, and you can make one turn the other direction if you like. Again, you could do an egg carrot bunny, and then I'm going to cover them, one in the buffalo check like this, and then one in a burlap, and I just used the burlap ribbon that Dollar Tree has. And then I'm going to cover one in the faux fur that Dollar Tree also has, like that, and then glue everything down and add that ribbon. And now I have this sign complete, and I just think they're so cute with the different types of bunnies. Okay, now this one is one of their little chalkboard signs from Dollar Tree, and I painted the trim white, and then using these types, now I used the basket, but again for visual purposes I'm just showing you one of the hats. They're these ones that have the tinsel on them, and you're going to go ahead and take that tinsel off, and you're going to have like a 3D image, and you're going to pop that in half. And so now here's what half of like one of the baskets looks like. That I took the tinsel off of, and they're usually gray inside. And then I just hot glue it down to my sign here, and then I just added a little buffalo check bow. I used their bigger buffalo check and they're smaller. Now to just jazz this up some more, you can add some little carrots, these like bigger ones, or the top items are from Hobby Lobby, but I know Dollar Tree sells something very similar. You could add these little tiny carrots down inside, but since it is a basket, I went ahead and used these small little eggs here, and I used one of each color and glued them down in here. Again, you can see how easy this project is, and they have so many of the cute tinsel items, and I love to take the tinsel off and see what I can do with the bones. You could also wrap that basket if you don't like that plasticky look. You could have wrapped the basket in buffalo check or any kind of fabric, ribbon, but I do love playing around with those tinsel projects. Okay. Here's another one. You could just use an egg sign from Dollar Tree. This particular paper mache egg, I think, is from Target actually, but I covered it in buffalo check paper, and then I used one of these metal words from Dollar Tree, and I covered it in white chalk paint, and then kind of rusted, kind of chipped off some of the paint to make it rustic and added it down. And then this bunny head is just another one of these tinsel things that I took the tinsel off of. And then I just made a twine bow for the bunny's ear and glued everything down. Another super simple project. And here is everything all complete. Lots of fun buffalo check items. These are some of my most fun projects to make. I just like grab a bunch of stuff and see what I can come up with. And so I knew I wanted to use some of these items up, and this egg sign here, it used to have paper across it. I'm sure you've seen it, but I just peeled it off last year for something and then didn't use it. I have some of this Dollar Tree fabric. This one is just all pink with bunnies, and then there's this other really pretty floral fabric. I have used the this fabric right here a couple years ago on a project, and it's just so darn cute, and so I am going to use it actually on 2 projects today because it's just the cutest and I love the colors and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and Mod Podge this down, and then I will cut around it.
As I'm staying close to the mirror, a lock of gold, a secret smile, little things I remember.
Okay, so I'm trying to use up stuff in my stash, and I bought this rail wreath form last year, year before, I don't remember, but I'm not going to use it this year for that reason, and so I'm just going to cut this little bunny off. I'm sure there's other wood bunnies that Dollar Tree has, but this one works perfect, it fits perfect, and so I'm going to use it. And then I got some of this faux fur also from Dollar Tree. I got it in pink too, and I thought it'd make maybe some gnomes or something at Valentine's Day, but I never did. So this works perfect to go over our bunny. And again, I'm just going to Mod Podge our bunny and add the fur and cut around it.
Plays a hand upon my heart as her. She was a believer. Sometimes I can feel her arms holding me as forever. Changes everything, and everything will change in time. Love changes every heart, and any heart can change you. I see in you my mother's eyes, and I lay your head to my shoulder.
Okay, now it's time to just add everything together. I have some ribbon here. This white one was actually a Christmas ribbon, and the teal ribbon is from Dollar Tree, and the pink ribbon is from Hobby Lobby. So obviously you saw that there. I just hot glued my bunny down. I'm going to kind of push this bristled carrot so that I can add glue to it. We're going to have our bunny hold it. These carrots are just too cute. Then I'm going to add these bows just by hot gluing them down to the base, and that's it for this project. You could add a little word or something too if you'd like. And now you have a cute little stake to add to one of your potted plants in your house, or maybe a topiary, whatever you would like. I just think it is too cute. I love the colors and everything.
A lock of gold, a secret smile. I will tell you when you get old.
This pack of gnomes is absolutely the cutest thing. The little carrot hat and the little bunny ears. I'm just taking one of the terracotta pots here from Dollar Tree, I think from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to glue these all the way around, and they fit perfectly, these 6 little gnomes. And this is just such a cute thing for $2.50. I think it turned out so adorable. I'd like to know, if you already had liked gnomes, do you still like gnomes, or are you kind of over it? I just can't help but still love the little gnomes. They're so cute, especially these ones. So let's just add a little bit to this pot. Of course, you can add a plant to it, but I'm just going to add some carrots. I have 3 of these carrots from Dollar Tree left in my stash. And then I had some of these bigger ones. These ones are actually from the 99-cent store. I'm going to add those as well, and that fit really nicely inside the pot. And then I was like, let's make a little sign, and so I just cut out a little piece of cardboard, and then I had have you seen these little, did you get these little wood pieces from Dollar Tree? Oh my goodness, they're so cute. I picked out one of the tiny little carrots. Of course, you can use one of these bigger ones that are also from Dollar Tree, but the little one is super cute. And then I just colored it with my paint markers, and then with just a Sharpie, I wrote "Welcome to our patch." That stick off to the side is just a random piece that I had in my stash. You could use a skewer or anything. And that's it. I just glue all that down and I stick it down in my pot. And I think this is just the cutest little piece.
I place a hand upon your heart. Every beat is taking me over. And I will.
Okay, so this is pretty much like a Michael's grab bag wreath. I got 2 rolls of this pink mesh here. I only used 2, and also this wreath form, but you can make a wreath form like this with a Dollar Tree wreath and pipe cleaners. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch it there to start, and we're going to just put it into the pipe cleaners there. Now, you can't really see it too well, but I have a 10-inch piece of masking tape, and I put the pipe cleaner on the one side, and then I pinch it on the 10-inch side, and then I'm going to add it here into the next pipe cleaner, and I'm just going to keep doing that until I get all the way around. Now, I've never made a wreath like this before, and I watched a tutorial from May Made It Crafts. I'm going to link the video I watched because her wreath turned out super cute. I mean, mine turned out super cute, but it looks a little different. Okay, so like I said, I'm just going to do this all the way around, and it took this entire roll. Now, a roll of this retails for $9.99, so you know you can always get it like 40% off usually. So $6 for a roll is not bad because it has way more on it than a Dollar Tree roll, and then plus it's like twice the height or width or however you want to look at it. So it's actually not really more expensive than using Dollar Tree supplies. I know we like to use Dollar Tree supplies because they're so inexpensive, but sometimes you have to buy 3 times the amount. But these 2 meshes are from Dollar Tree. This one's kind of a limey green and white, and then this purple, and I cut those also at 10 inches. Okay, so this one, I just wanted to show you how much of the roll was left after I did this, and then you just kind of cut it off and tuck that little tail down into your wreath. So you can see this is quite a big and bubbly wreath. So it is so fun. I love the big bubble. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is take 1 purple and 1 green and roll them up, and then I'm going to put those down into the pipe cleaners that are already there. So this wreath is so simple to do. It was so fast to make. A lot of times when I make wreaths, it takes a little while. I also love trying a different technique every time I make a wreath, just so I can learn which one works the best. Sometimes I fly by the seat of my pants and do it without any kind of knowledge, just what happens if I do this. And sometimes I watch a tutorial from another creator to learn their technique. And like I said, that's what this one is, where I learned from her.
Hold you in my arms, pretend we'll stay here forever. Time changes everything, and everything will change in time. Love changes every heart, and any heart can change you. Je call, I fall. There's a legacy between us. We grow, we go, but in the middle, time changes.
Okay, so I wasn't loving how big the bubbles were, only because I could still see the wreath form. So what I did is I took each bubble and I pinched it at the center mark, and then I added a pipe cleaner. This, I end up liking it better because it makes the wreath a little more like denser, I think I want to say, instead of it being such big bubbles. Now on the one that I watched, so here you can see on one side, the left side is with the big bubbles, and on the right side you can see it being a little bit like with the halfway point. I hope that made sense. Okay, so now I'm going to take ribbons. I took 4 different designs and I cut them at 24 inches. And then you're going to dovetail the ends. I didn't dovetail the ends until later, but you want to do that first. Now my thing originally has 16 of the pipe cleaner, so that's why I did 4 ribbons of 4 different designs. So you see here, you just make a cross it over, you push that back in, and then you're just going to pinch it and you're going to put it down into the pipe cleaner. Do you see how easy that is? There's no tying, gluing, anything. You're just putting it right down into the pipe cleaner, and that's it. So on the bows, I actually put the bow ones where I halved the big pink bubbles, because in the original ones with the white that were on the wreath already, I put the smaller mesh, so that way it's very balanced. And also, I forgot to mention, all those ribbons I used are also from Michaels. Okay, so I'm going to use these kind of twine egg skewers from Dollar Tree. They come in 4 different colors, so that's perfect. So now I'm just pushing this down into the center of my bow and using that same pipe cleaner to wrap it around and get it down into place. And then I'm going to feed that pipe cleaner to the back of the wreath form. Then I'm going to flip over my wreath and I'm going to make sure that it's really nice and secure. And then I'm going to trim that skewer so that it's not, this giant skewer, because otherwise it's not going to hang on your door. And I'm going to go around and I'm going to do this on each of the bows. So again, this works perfect because there's 4 in a pack of each color. So I got 16 eggs. It was perfect. And then that makes this wreath complete. You could add a sign to it. I thought it would be really cute. I think this year Dollar Tree has like those bunny wreath kits, so it's actually kind of like a bunny head and feet. I would totally add that if I had it. Again, if you've been with me for a little while, you know I'm moving and I am just trying to use up my stash and not buy a whole lot more. And this wreath was perfect for me being able to use up my stash. I am absolutely in love with how this wreath turned out. It's one of my favorites that I've ever made, and it was definitely the easiest. I will use this method absolutely again. Much like the other project in this video, I'm kind of doing the same technique and it's going to match. So one of these egg wood forms from Dollar Tree, this came out this year. I'm very excited about it. So I'm just Mod Podging again, and I have just enough of that fabric to also go over this, and it's just too cute. I can't stand it. And yes, it's wrinkly, you see there, but once you get it down on the glue and just press it out, it all becomes nice and smooth. Now, I didn't want to cover up those cute bunnies, like their faces or anything, so I keep it a little bit simpler so that we still get to see those faces. And I was trying to decide what do I want to put on here. So I'm going to put this bunny also from Dollar Tree ornament. I was going to use this piece of fabric, ribbon I mean, but it just didn't work and it covered up those cute bunny faces, so we're ditching that. These again were in my stash. I won them. They match so well. I'm going to end up just taking that paper clip off and just using the paper bow. So making paper bows is really easy, or you could use ribbon. I had this little chipboard flower in my stash as well, and I just painted it a coral color that matched that fabric. And then you'll see some stickers there off to the side, again, old in my stash. I'm going to paint this little rabbit with some white chalk paint, and then I do end up filling that hole with some white spackle as well. I'm going to use these two ribbons. The pink again is from Hobby Lobby, and it's $1.99, and I got it for $1, so it's actually cheaper than Dollar Tree. Glue that down as well. And then we're just gonna start gluing all the pieces down. This was a really easy project, and I tried to keep it a little more simple, and it's gonna match my decor perfectly. Also, I'd like to invite you over to some of my other social media platforms. I am trying to grow a little bit more on Facebook, and on Facebook you will be able to see my stories as well if you are not an Instagram user, because I post the stories on Instagram and they go to Facebook, because if you didn't know, they're owned by the same people. So I'm going to link those down in the description, and I hope you will join me on one of those other social media platforms. It really actually helps out this channel and helps fund my ability to continue to do this. I really appreciate all of you who have made it this far in the video, and thank you for your continued support. This sign from Dollar Tree is cute all on its own, but I'm going to give it a farmhouse makeover. So I'm just going to pop off these tails here. Okay, once I get those off, I'm going to take it to the other side here, and I'm going to cover it with some Crackle medium. This is from Dixie Belle. I really like this stuff. I will use it again on some other projects as well. It just really gives that farmhouse chic like finish. I am obsessed with it throughout this whole video. So once I get that on there, and then I'm going to set it aside to dry. And now that it's dry, I'm going to take my cotton colored chalk paint here, also from Dixie Belle. And when you use their product, you want to make sure you're only brushing up one direction. That is what it says to do. You don't want to over paint on it. And then, as you see here, I'm just going to cover it, and then you will see the crackle start to come through. Now, whatever color is on the bottom is what's going to come through, so you could paint this whole thing pink and whatever color you'd like, and then that would show through. And so I didn't even have to paint it because it's already brown, and it gives that great crackle look. Okay, using the little heart picks you see up there at the top, I just clipped one off. It's already painted pink for me, so I have a little heart for the bunny noses. And then I went into my stash and I had some other little wood hearts that I'm going to use as well. And then these bunnies, let's see, actually, so we've got 3 bunnies here, and then we're going to make the other ones little chicks. And so I'm going to make glasses for one of the chicks and glasses for one of the bunnies. And I'll show you here in a second my inspiration for this DIY. It looks nothing like this DIY, but it's just what inspired me to make the little glasses. I think that is something I'm seeing on a lot of Easter DIYs, not DIYs, just decor this year, and it's just too cute. So it was really easy to make glasses. As you saw there, I just took some wire and wrapped it around a pencil. You just make 2 loops, and then you've got the cutest little wire glasses. Okay, and then I painted these hearts using just my Posca paint markers. And so I do 2 little hearts for the duck feet and 1 little heart sideways for its beak. And then, so 3 of those. And then one of my bunnies is a boy, so he's got like the minty blue-green nose. And then, so I'm just going to get these all situated here. And then that is the glasses there for that one, and then the glasses on our boy bunny. And then we'll add some ribbons in our girl bunny's ears. And here's the inspiration. And then I will glue all those down. I won't make you watch me glue it. I just glued it all down with some hot glue, and then this project's complete. Oh, nope, it's not complete until I draw in some eyes with just my little paint pen. I literally just made the most simplest little black ovals. That's it. I don't put them on the ones with glasses, and then that's it. And the chip paint here is so good. It's so easy to do, and I do like how it works better than the glue method. And so here we go. Look at how farmhouse and cute this turned out. The little duckies. Well, not duckies. I guess they're chicks. The little chicks. I don't know if our chicks going to turn into ducks or turn into chickens. For this project, you're going to start out with a candlestick. I don't think this one's from Dollar Tree. I think I got it at a garage sale, but I am not totally sure. I'm just going to make an indentation here on this floral foam, and then I will cut it out so I can put it on top of this candlestick. Now, you don't have to glue this down so that you could change it out for another holiday, but I know I'm going to want to keep this one, so I will glue it down. And I'm just using my slice tool. It's a less sharp tool, and I like to use that so that I do not cut my surface or my fingers. Okay, so I'll give that a little glue and glue it down, and then I just grabbed some stems out of my stash. I don't think these ones are from Dollar Tree either. I'm just really trying to use up my stash before I move, but I do know Dollar Tree has little yellow flowers like this. So I just cut them down into little pieces, and then I'm just going to jab them into the sides, and we're going to go all the way around. And I do end up having to go into my stash and look a little bit more to find some more yellow. And I'm just going to make this nice and full.
I was counting my blessings, I felt beaten down. I was looking for a calling, felt lonely in a crowd. I was searching for the answers, too blind to see the signs. He was always by my side. He shed his light.
I'm going to use some of these little moss bunnies. Now you could use one of the bigger moss bunnies and have it all by itself, but I'm just going to use these little ones. So I'm going to use some of their grassy moss that they have, glue that down a little bit. Wanted them to sit up a little higher, so I'm going to add some more. And then I'm just going to put some toothpicks into my little bunny's bottoms, and then that will make them stick nice and secure down into my floral foam. And then I was trying to decide, there's one left. Do I put it down on the bottom? And so I end up deciding, yes, I am going to do that. But before that, I am going to make a bow. And so with this ribbon here, I'm just doing the simple bow where you glue the two ends together and then pinch it with one other long piece for the tails. And then I'm just using a smaller piece of like really thin ribbon to go around the center, and then I will just glue that, and then just with a dot of glue I will glue it to my underneath the flowers there onto the base of the candlestick. And then that's it for this project. It is so fun and springy, and like I said, you could also, if you don't want bunnies, once Easter's over, you could pop those bunnies out and you could put something else in there, maybe a little birdhouse or birds, whatever you like. But I think this is a fun and versatile project.
Picked me up. I'm safe in his arms. I found my bliss in the greatest love there is. The greatest love there is.
For this project, I am going to make something that I was inspired by another creator that I met on Instagram years ago as well. And her name is Sage, and she has a page, Charmed by Sage. I will link that in the description. Here is the project she made, and I knew I wanted to do this cardboard technique just to give it texture, because I really love texture, and I wanted to add some to this project. And I saw how she did this, where she just kind of peeled some cardboard back and added it to an egg, and I thought, yep, I want to try that. I did use that little tile piece on another project, so this was a piece left over, and I thought, let's add a little bit of that. Now these tile pieces, they're only sticky on the edges, not the whole thing, so that's kind of a bummer. I thought the whole thing was sticky, but no worries. I'm just tracing out a little piece here, and then I will just hot glue it down to the egg. So anyhow, I just knew I wanted to use lots of textures. It's one of my favorite things. I use a lot of texture throughout this video. But look at how the inside of that cardboard, how it just has different layers. I just think it looks so good. Now, you're probably thinking, none of this matches. That's okay, because I am going to paint it, and I am also going to paint it pink like she did as well. But I'm going to take it in a different direction. This was just kind of inspired by what she made. She makes gorgeous DIYs, so you'll definitely have to check her out as well. Okay, once I get this down and glued on, I am going to cover it with some corally pink paint.
I saw a ray of hope, and he led me out the dark. God's forever faithful, he'll always lift you up. I was looking for the answers, too blind to see the signs. He was with me all this time. No, he never left my side. He shed his light and picked me up. I'm safe in his arms. I found my bliss and the greatest love there is.
So I want to try out the other Crackle method, which is just using some Elmer's glue, and that should also give you that crackle effect. I wanted to see if this worked as good as the Dixie Belle Crackle, and it doesn't. I like the Dixie Belle Crackle much better. It's thicker. I don't know. I don't know what's different about it, but I like it better. So, but this still works if you don't have that. Then once it dries, actually with the glue, you don't wait till it dries. You just do it right away. So I'm going over it with the cotton white chalk paint from Dixie Belle. I'm not going to fully cover it. I do want that pink to show through. And then once this is done, then the fun part is just decorating the egg. How do I want to decorate it? There's so many options. As you saw with Sage's, she did these flowers cascading down with some bunny ears. So I kind of looked through my stash, and I found this corrugated bunny that I had popped off of a sign last year, and so I'm going to use that. And then I found these wood carrots also in my stash. They are not from Dollar Tree, but Dollar Tree does carry some little wood pieces like you see here. There's the carrots, eggs, there's bunny heads. So I'm going to use these. This makes it easy. It's already, you know, been used. The sign was used. So I'm going to, then I'm going to color these carrots. I just used my Posca marker, and then just so it wasn't so bright, I took my sanding block and just sanded over it and gave it kind of that rustic look as well. And then you'll see off to the side there, I have all of these beautiful ribbons. It's a ribbon bundle, trim bundle they call it. At Michael's, they're $10, so you can get them on sale for even cheaper, and you can see you get all sorts of wonderful neutral colors and ribbons that you can use. And they have them in every color scheme, and I think they have Christmas and Halloween ones, and so this one's been fun. I've had it for at least 2 years now, so I'm getting my use out of it. So after I've picked a few ribbons, I'm going to go ahead and start gluing them down. I love this trim. And what I like too is sometimes I don't want a whole roll of ribbon, I just want little bits, and this is what's great about that. And then I came across a bunch of these skinnier ones. They're just so pretty, and somehow I had the exact same pink color. And I think most of these little ribbons are from Michael's. Could be Joann's actually, because I think I got them on clearance at Joann's after season. So I'm just going to glue all of those down. You know how to glue ribbons down, so I won't make you watch me glue down each one of them. Then I'm going to just set my little bunny on top. I'm going to use some double stick tape as well as hot glue. Whenever I'm doing with metal, I like to use 2 different options for adherence, so that way if it pops off from the hot glue, it'll have a backup method. And then I'm going to glue down my carrots here, and then I thought I needed one more little thing, so I added some more of that pink ribbon that I had already used. I just put a little bow on those carrots, and this project is done. Now, if you want to take it a next step, you can do like what Sage did. She looks like she mounted it like inside a frame, and that was absolutely gorgeous. I love the thickness and the texture of this project, and the options are endless. And even if you can't find that egg sign from Dollar Tree, really all you have to do is cut one out of cardboard yourself. I saw someone use this tray from Dollar Tree years ago to turn into a carrot, and so I picked one up and then I never made it. And I thought, again, I'm trying to use up my stash before I move, and I found it and I was like, yes, that's right, this was a project I saw. So I'm sorry that I can't give whoever turned this into a carrot credit, but I just know that somebody did a couple years ago. So I just scuffed it up there with some sandpaper, and then I'm just covering it with some white chalk paint from Dixie Belle. And then once that dries, we're going to do the Crackle. Yes, I'm doing Crackle on like all of these projects because I just absolutely love the look it gives. So I'm heaping this on. We're going to make it real crackly. Now, I wasn't quite sure how this was going to work with it being plastic, but because I sanded it down, it all stayed really well. So then using some terracotta paint color, I'm just going across the top, and you can see that it is instantly crackling. Now, if I hadn't mentioned it already, you do need to wait for that crackle to completely dry before you do this step. As you can see, it is coming into a carrot. So I believe this was originally like supposed to be like a surfboard, maybe. It's in their like summery trays, but you know how early that stuff comes out. Okay, so I pulled all of this eucalyptus off of a wreath, and I'm actually going to show that project in the next coming video, so keep that in mind. I will share that next week. But anyhow, I'm just grabbing some of this eucalyptus, and I'm just going to zip tie it together, and then we're going to glue it to the back of our carrot. Now, you probably saw there a little bit of my hair dangling into the picture, and I did some fun hot pink in my hair, and I'm really having fun with that, you know, because you only live once, and, you know, it was just a fun thing to do. So I'm going to use some E6000 as well as some hot glue, and we're going to really stick this down, and I put something heavy on top of it. And then after it dried, I added some, like, I don't, it's not duct tape, I'm not even sure, I found it in the garage, but I went ahead and taped that over it. Now, if you're wondering how I'm going to display this, I usually use command strips on the back to hang things. So that's my plan. Okay, so I have this ribbon here. It is from the 99-cent store, and I just made one of my simple 3-loop bows. I will link at the top here a video where I show you exactly how I made the bow, but it's just a simple bow with a bow maker, and I'm just going to add it to the screenery here. And then I thought it needed something else. There were so many options. I could put a word down it. Once again, my cat wanted to visit. Okay, so this is where my camera cuts out and I run out of space on it. But what happens here is I have that bunny ornament that I had covered in some buffalo check burlap, and then that little hopboard is also from Dollar Tree, and I just painted that with white. And then you can't really see it probably on screen, but it is just hanging there by some twine, and this is how the project turned out. Of course, you're seeing it sideways, but I would hang it upright so that it's long ways. But I love how this turned out, and I just think it is so cute in Farmhouse. I was so excited to find these bunnies at Dollar Tree. They are fabulous. So I'm going to cover 3 of them. I was going to use this napkin, and I'll show you why I don't. I'm using this little leather purse also from Dollar Tree. It's such a beautiful blush pink. And then one of these tiles. And like I said, I used a little bit of this tile on the previous project. And so I'm going to use it on this bunny as well. They not only had the bunny, they have a carrot, they have an egg, and they have a chick. And so what a good deal for $1.25, these big thick wood pieces. I didn't get the chick, but I did get the egg and the carrot, and I will probably be making those over in next week's video. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to glue this down. This is where I find out that it's not actually sticky, even though they're pill and stick tiles. So I'm just going to use some wood glue here and tack this down, and then I'm going to let it dry, and I'm going to move on to the next one. And I don't show it, but you'll see here. Basically, after it dries, I just go around with an X-Acto knife and cut it out. So easy peasy. You can cut it out with scissors and then glue it on. That could be easier. Just because of the type it was, I thought it would be easier with the X-Acto knife. So I'm just going to do the same thing I did on that previous one. We're just going to cut out a little piece of this leather. I have 3 of these purses. I got pink, tan, and I think black, knowing that I was going to cut them up and use the leather because it's nice and thin and it cuts really easily. So I'll go ahead and glue this guy down, and I will do the same process as I did in the top one. Okay, so here are the cute little bunny napkins, but the problem is some of the bunnies were going to be upside down, and that was going to look weird, and I could have pieced pieces together, but I decided to just go with some good old scrapbook paper because I know that's going to be the easiest way. So I Mod Podge it on and I lay it down, and I'm going to do it like I did the other ones with the X-Acto knife, and then I thought, oh silly me, it's so much easier to cut the shape of the bunny and then glue it on. I don't think it was as easy with the other types of medium, but with paper it is, so I go with that method for this one. So either method works. You can either glue it down in an X-Acto knife, or you can cut it out and then glue it down. So when I do glue it down like this method, I do take a nail file, a really thick nail file, and I file the edges so that it has a nice clean finish, something you don't get if you do it with a cutting with the scissors method. And then I thought this does need something that's a little bit plain, so I go in, I take some brown paint, and I'm going to paint around the edges. I started with this tan paint and a sponge brush, and I end up abandoning both. The tan paint was not bright enough. It didn't give enough of a contrast. And then I went with a smaller brush and I got a better look. So here is where I realized that that tan is just not going to show very well on this pink, so I went with the darker brown so that I would have more of a contrast. So I go back over to the bunny with tile and I do the darker brown. And this is how the 3 bunnies turned out. I can't wait to make over the other shapes.